Hello all you young Turks, Sport Like It Is starts now. My name is Ed and I brought with me one gallant geezer, the nicest skinhead you'll ever come across. Quite faster. Richard Masbrook, what's happening, future?
Alright, so I sound like a neo-Nazi if you've described me that way.
Well, you're the nicest skinhead you've ever met.
Cheers, thank you.
Champions League action, 11 wins in 12 Premier League outings for Manchester City. That is a record as far as the Premier League goes. They didn't do it in Napoli the other night. The cauldron that is the Stadio San Paolo, it's exactly what Mancini thought it would be, and it proved to be, and they couldn't quite win. That means they've got to beat Bayern Munich in their last game. What's a promising game that turns into?
It's going to be a cracker. It's going to be a thoroughly enjoyable game. But Man City really seem to struggle, and I don't know why, for all the glut of talent that they've got against Napoli, you would have thought that they would
on the
brush
bench,
them
which I thought was quite confusing.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. I mean, you wonder just how much is sort of catching up with the guys in terms of league and this and that, and trying to sort of juggle the squad as nicely as they can. But they really did look fairly average last night.
Quick word to the eye ties. Sky Sports News ran a very interesting feature on the security at the stadium the other night, and I think it was because there were no stabbings, which is probably a first for the eye ties, but maybe perhaps one. Quick mention, security concerns before Olympics 2012?
Yeah, it was good. As you say, the Italians are known for getting a knife in there, or overturning a car, or ripping up a pavement, or one of those sort of things if the result doesn't go their way. But no, good result for them. They'll be happy with that. They would have headed off to the pub, no worries. And
real victory for Italian football, It would seem. Moving along, Chelsea, defensively diabolical. Suicidal again. They went down to Bayer Leverkusen, and they've now got to beat Valencia, who hammered Genk 7, and Soldado scored a hat-trick. But let's just look at Chelsea. Short-termism in managers there. I mean, Abramovich seems to be not shy of spending 15 million to put a problem under the carpet. Is he going to give ABB more time?
I hope so. There was a big debate in England over that as to how long should he get, and general consensus is that a manager needs a good couple of years to make his mark on a side. And in fairness, he's still sitting with guys like Didier Drogba, who were back from Jose Mourinho's days. So it's not a squad that is his, and he hasn't made it his own yet. So he's still possibly got one thing that he can ask for, and that's for some new players and to make some changes in the squad. But for the rest, he's having not the greatest of time in England.
Old players, and he's trying to implement a new attacking philosophy, and we've always seen Chelsea have tried to keep it tight and grind out results. Lots of questions for Roman Abramovich, who isn't averse to the odd phone call. Moving along, Manchester United looked very unimaginative in midfield. But, Ferguson has always said that the season is won after Christmas. They're getting results, although they didn't in the Champions League again. They got held at home again, which means they've got to go to Basel, who beat Otul Galat, and beat them quite comfortably. That's going to be tricky, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think the away trip for them is going to be tough. We look at United, and they're not top of the table, and a lot of people will say, well, maybe that's a problem. But I think the stat is that this number of points last season they would have been leading. It's just the fact that City's run away with things, and United are sort of struggling to keep pace with them. But in the Champions League, they've looked fairly average.
Really rubbish.
They're
I think
not
you're
the
actually
sort
trying
of
to
side
say
that got to the final, and I don't know, it's just a little disappointing with the way that they've performed. They just don't look like they've got any attacking impetus, like there's anything going forward that they're going to do.
Lacking mobility without Rooney up top, and of course Michael Carrick, who's got a great touch but likes to pass the ball sideways. Darren Fletcher will always hassle and harry but won't put one over the top for a striker that's running onto the ball. So there are problems at Manchester United, and everybody knows that they do lack a creative midfielder. So plenty of questions again for Sir Alex Ferguson. But Arsenal, let's move along to them. And I'd like to pay tribute to Arsenal because they've really turned things around. And they beat Borussia Dortmund, the champions of Germany, a side that have been mighty over the last couple of years and been so impressive last season with a young side. What did you make of their game?
Good. You mentioned Arsenal beat Borussia Dortmund. I think Robin van Persie beat Borussia Dortmund.
What's a man?
Saw a lovely tweet today that Robin van Persie had to leave early, and he's got to get back to the Emirates and mow the lawn and wash the kids and that sort of stuff.
There.
He's a one-man team there, and I thought that was a fairly apt description of the way the season has gone for them. Credit to the Dutch football management and to Arsene Wenger. They seem to have a nice relationship there. I know Wenger asked that they rest Van Persie for the international friendlies, and they have done that. So they've managed to keep him reasonably fresh, but at the moment, everything that guy touches turns to gold. He's been absolutely brilliant for them.
Can't find fault with that man at this stage. Quick mention for Apoel. The greatest Cypriot side in history. They've qualified for the last 16. What a moment for them. They went to Zenit St. Petersburg and, of course, drew. What a great result for them.
A good result for them. I think they just literally went around the island and said, can you play footy? Can you play footy? Can you play footy? Cool, we've got us a team here. And
they look like a beach side more than anything else.
Yeah, look, they were lucky as well last night against Zenit. I think the end stats were Zenit had 23 shots on goal, 7 of them on target, and I think Upwell had 1, and it was off target. So they got away scot-free last night.
They ground out a goalless draw.
They did, yeah.
Quick mention before we finish up to Barcelona and Real Madrid that are making things look very easy. They're on easy street at the moment. 50 goals this year for Leo Messi, and nobody's even mentioned that stat. People have said 30 for Van Persie, whatever, but 49 would have been a shade average for Messi.
Yeah, I think he set the bar a little bit too high.
Slightly,
they always sort of talk about
him.
that there's the problem with Messi and he's off form and off song, and if he hasn't scored for 2 games. So he has set the bar high, and I think people need to put it in context and just understand that he is a phenomenal player, and he's not going to score 3 goals every game, but he is at a phenomenal strike rate at the moment.
Last words today go to Xabi Alonso, who said, "Tackling is not a real quality. It's more something you are forced to resort to when you don't have the ball. I can't get my head around the fact that footballing development would educate tackling as a quality. Make what you want of that." Soldier on, you lot. We will see you all next week. Cheers.
Cheers.